Hey everybody, it's Pastors Jacob and Jen here, and we have a special treat for today's digital devotion. We have with us on Zoom an incredible member of our congregation, Alloro, who is a positive psychologist. And he has a really important message for all of us as we're trying to process our emotions and to stay well during this time. So welcome, Lewis. Good to have you. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit about what well-being looks like during this time?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Good to see you guys virtually. It doesn't take the place of the real thing, but it certainly comes close. Um, so well-being we define as feeling good and functioning effectively, and it involves good times and bad times. So I've been thinking a lot lately how the struggle is real, and through this weird time in human existence, global weirding, I kind of think of sometimes, that there is opportunities for us to struggle well through this experience. And well-being is not any one thing; it's a combination of things. If you think holistically about yourself and your life, and having an emotional body and a physical body, and a spiritual body, and integrated together becomes this thing of you that is functioning sometimes and flourishing at other times. But it's really just about being aware of foundational things physically, like getting enough sleep and the right qualities surrounding bedtime rituals, and getting good rest, and getting physical movement, and really getting out and moving your body, and having really good practices around not just exercise but movement in general, and eating the right things and being nourished by nutrient density. And those kind of foundational things are really important for our well-being. When those things are in place and working well, then we could take on maybe some other things to consider. For example, really thinking about being engaged, right? So I think a lot of this time is, what is your leisure, your smart leisure looking like? I'm so grateful to have hobbies, and I know you guys do too. We've talked about that in the past, so I think now's a really good time to think about what you're curious about. What do you want to learn more about or get into? And in my house right now, I have an art zone. I have a creative zone where my paints are set up and my canvases, and I have obviously my kitchen is a cooking zone. I love to cook, and so I'm making that a special place for me to be engaged with stuff. And I just planted some new things in my garden last weekend, and that's another place where I could like attend to my well-being by doing just stuff that I'm naturally curious about and interested in, not just things that are have to do or should do, but things that we really want to do. And so engagement becomes one of these things really important for our well-being that we can really take on right now. I was talking to a group of high school kids the other day, and one of the questions I've been asking people is, what's the unexpected gift in this moment in time for you? And one of the kids said, I really get to study things that I'm really curious about, and I want to learn. So he's doing school in this new way, but it gives him some space to do it in a way that's more intrinsically motivating for things that he's really passionate about, wanting to learn. And I think for kids of all ages, that's something that we can all consider right now. I've been reading too a little bit, like, you don't have to write the next greatest novel during this time, or you don't need to come up with the best masterpiece, but just to kind of explore some of the things that you're interested in can be really good for our well-being.
Yeah,
Those are
that's
great
great.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you talk about how our well-being involves the struggle too, if someone right now feels like they're kind of overwhelmed with the struggle and they're feeling like they can't cope with their anxiety, how do you confront or accept struggle as part of your well-being? How do you make struggle part of your wellness?
Yeah, I think it's real for me too. I've been oscillating between moments of sheer panic and overwhelm and fear, And then on the opposite side of that emotional spectrum, I have gratitude and optimism and so grateful for my faith right now too. So it's all of those feels, right? So I think it's just normalizing that it's okay to feel all of the feelings. In fact, with emotional intelligence, sometimes it's just about naming what it is. There was a great article in the Harvard Business Review last week about grief being what most people are experiencing right now, that all change brings loss. So we are in this transition point in human history, really, where we are letting go of some things as they were and waiting for or expecting what's to come. But in that transition, there's a little friction sometimes that people feel, like wanting to go this way sometimes, knowing that we can only go forward. So it's just feeling the feels, naming them, and expecting that they're normal and natural, and this too shall pass. I think it was John Kabat-Zinn that said, you can't stop the waves from coming, but you can certainly choose the ones that you want to surf. And so coping strategies become really, really important. I've noticed for myself, there have been some moments where they haven't been the most positive coping strategies, that I've noticed, like eating too much maybe, or, wanting to sleep a little extra longer, or things that, I just kind of let myself do and then notice it and then ask, hey, is this helping me or is it hindering me? And with that kind of question, you could make a different choice, perhaps. It's really important to have accountability buddies, like you guys are there with each other. But even for the people who are, quote, home alone, it's really important. We need each other. We need to have some other people in our lives that we can call upon to say, hey, look, I really want to work on eating more healthy. Can you be my accountability buddy in that? And then just kind of have a conversation around what is the next right step for you in the direction of that intention. It's not that we need to plan the rest of the month even, or the year. No, it's just, what's the next right step in my journey that wants to eat more healthy, or who wants to have better sleep hygiene, or who wants to have better social connection, even in this physical distancing time.
That's good. You mentioned your faith being something that's really positive for you right now. Can you talk a little bit more about what that's looking like for you and how you think that might be helpful for others?
Yeah, thank you. David Brooks wrote an article in the New York Times this past week about faith, and how to me it's about creating meaning, right? And having that narrative that's going on in between my ears be one that is that's leading me in a direction of abundance, and in the direction of hope, and in the direction of really just remembering, I think, Jen, that we're always where we need to be when we're there. And I can't control everything that's going on. Obviously, there's a lot of disruption and chaos right now, and this virus is just one piece of it that's exposing, I think, lots of other things that are feeling really off. And I can't maybe change those circumstances or those conditions, but I can change how I show up to those conditions. And with God and with other people, and I'm not alone in that, and I think that's a really important thing that we humans sometimes forget, that just because I'm struggling means I need to do it by myself. No, I mean, evolutionarily, if you look at our ancestors, it's not the strongest that survive, the ones most responsive to change, the ones most adaptable and flexible. And we've evolved in tribes, right? That's what I love about our church. It just feels like a really strong tribe that is a place that we all want to go on Sundays, and other times, obviously. But I really love how you guys are adapting to this new format, and it just feels so nice to have the tribe there. So it's just, I think it's just reminders for people that we need each other, we have each other, and we have God, and we are God between us, so having that faith is really really, I'm so grateful to have faith at this time. It hurts my heart for the people who are out there without faith. It hurts my heart for the people who are out there who don't like their homes, or who are in living conditions that are horrific, abusive, or not non-existent, the homeless, you know. So there are people who we can look and say, wow, I'm so grateful to have what I have. Human nature sometimes wants to look this way and think, why not me? You know, seemingly people have so much more than me, but it's so nice to just remember that gratitude when we can.
Yeah.
So many good thoughts. If people were looking for resources, things that maybe you've talked about that they could read further about, I know everybody's downloading extra things on their Kindle these days. Could you name a few things that you think people might find helpful?
You know, I'm laughing just because the resources are aplenty. I think that, you know, I've been in this work for a little over 10 years now. So my feed has been that for a long time, increasingly so now that this is going on. There's lots of people coming out of the woodwork to offer support, which is so lovely and nice. I would just invite people to choose and discern with their intuition. You know, what's the next piece of information or tool that's right for me? And just, because sometimes I can feel overwhelmed with it. I don't know if you guys ever have that experience of just feeling like there's so much that just kind of trusting yourself. My friend Eleanor always says, your intuition, it's good, remembering that it's good, and that you know, your body knows and your heart knows what you need next. So just kind of being in quiet for a minute, which is why turning that darn feed off and turning that news channel off and just kind of making that be as primary as eating and moving and sleeping that we started this conversation with, is just kind of turning that off and going inwards. I think that's really what the universe is asking of us right now. I saw a great meme the other day that said the universe, it's like the universe sent us all to our rooms and asked us to think about what we've done.
Yeah.
It does feel that way.
I thought about it long enough. Oh.
So once you're ready to come out of your room, then just trust that the resource that you need is going to be right there for you, and just have that faith.
Yeah. Thanks, Lewis. I love that line that we're where we need to be when we're there. And so we're thankful to be right here talking to you.
Yeah.
And that we're in this together, and we will get through it together. And then
we can,
at the end of it, where we need to be.
Yeah, we can do hard things. You know, I think that even in the struggle, we can remember that that beyond this struggle could be something better than we've ever experienced before. And why not have that be our expectation? Heaven on earth, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I like that. Getting a little bit closer.
Yeah. Well, you
Thanks
are one of the
time.
most positive people that we know. So thank you for another little burst of sunshine in this conversation. We look forward to sharing it with the congregation and spreading some positivity today.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Good to see your smiling faces.
You too. Take care.